Hello everyone and welcome to my spring features early tips. I did one of these for the autumn and it's back again for the spring. Identifying a horse we can follow into the feature races only in Victoria, in Melbourne. So let's look back at the autumn results to see how we went. Mr. Brightside in the CF4 ran second. Switzerland was unplaced. The red X's mean the horse didn't run in the race at all, and UNP is obviously unplaced, and then second, third, and first obvious. Arkansas Kid didn't run. Mr. Brightside in the Futurity got the job done. Price Tag didn't run in the Blue Diamond. Feroce was the highlight at $26, ended up starting $14 and getting the job done in the Australian Guineas when we did this exact video before the Autumn Carnival. Traffic Warden didn't run in the Newmarket. Mr. Brightside in the All-Star Mile got pipped on the line by Tom Kitten. Stretton Angel unplaced in the William Reid, and Kovalika didn't run at all in the Australian Cup. That's how we went for the autumn. There's 22 spring features to look at. Let's get on with them. We'll start with the Mezy Stakes first, and the one that I've got my eye on is Private Eye. Currently around $6. The Mezy Stakes is in history a race where it's good to have residual fitness on side. So what I've tried to look for here is marrying up a horse with residual fitness and has the ability to win a Group 1 of this caliber. Private Eye certainly ticks both those boxes. He won the Group 2 PB Lawrence, which is a traditional lead up to the Mezy Stakes. The only concern with taking Private Eye at the moment is the fact that he might not run in the Mezy. Joe Pride hasn't specifically said this horse is going to run in the Mezy next start. I think he said the Mezy is an option, so that's the only thing keeping me away from backing Private Eye, but he's definitely got the race residual fitness on his side and the class. I'm really hoping they put Escher in the Moya Stakes. I've identified it. $8. It was very good last start at the track and trip, winning. Obviously faces a big rise up in class from a 3-year-old handicap to a Group 1. But it's got a tremendous amount of early speed, so it'll be suited by the 1,000 metres of the Moya. It's going to carry 50 kilos if it runs in the Moya Stakes, just like Coolangatta did in 2022. It's by I Am a Star, who was a star at the Valley, so I'm really excited and hoping Escher runs in the Moya. Moving on to the Maccabi Diva Stakes at Flemington over 1,600 metres. Another will at $7.50 is one that I've identified at the moment. Ran at this track and trip last preparation in a similar sort of race, the All-Star Mile, where it started favourite, and we don't know if it would have won, but it got badly checked. And at the $7.50 mark, I think another will could go to this race and be competitive. The Underwood Stakes over 1,800 metres at Caulfield. I've got Vauban $7. The good thing about Vauban is that it's trained by the right trainers, Gay Waterhouse and Adrian Bott, who love this race, had Alligator Blood win it the other year, and Vauban's a horse that could just run first up in the Underwood, considering its recent form. So whatever they do with Vauban, I hope they go to the Underwood because I think it'll be competitive. This is probably the toughest race to try and work out, one, because the Rupert Clarke is... You need to identify a horse in the Rupert Clarke that hasn't got too high of a handicap rating because it'll get too much weight, or too low of a handicap rating because it might not get in the field. And one that I looked at in the futures market and thought, yeah, that horse is probably over the odds, is NCAP. Got some decent form last preparation, finished third in the Group 1 Doncaster with the 51 kilos. The query with NCAP is that it's trained by Gary Portelli. Nothing against the trainer, but he's a Sydney-based trainer, and this is a Melbourne race. So I'm not entirely sure NCAP's going to come down for the Rupert Clarke, but if he does, I think $34 is over the odds. Now the Manardo Stakes at the Valley, and there's a horse at $15 that has some really good form last preparation. Headwall. He ran in the Oakley Plate and was unlucky. That's when everyone took notice of him. Then he went second in the Newmarket behind Jolly Star, third in the TJ Smith behind Barassa. These are some good sprint races. And then second in the very rich Quokka. Headwall, he was brought down to Melbourne last preparation. I'm hoping they bring him down to Melbourne this preparation, and I think in a race like the Manardo Stakes, Headwall would be suited in. Next up is the Turnbull Stakes, and I don't think we can go past Mezy Stakes here. She's an absolute superstar. She's won 6 of her last 7 runs at 2,000 metres or above, so she'll be getting to her right trip here. The only loss was that Pride of Jenny Queen Elizabeth run. Via Sistina, I don't think there's much else to say besides that she'll be very hard to beat. Aerodrome in the Caulfield Guineas at $51 is, I think, the biggest price horse we've identified yet. It won the Clarendon $160,000 two-year-old race at Hawkesbury over the 1400 metres in May. Then it tried to go for a JJ Atkins, disappointed market expectation in the size produce at Eagle Farm. That was on a heavy 10. That might have wrecked it for the preparation, but it was still a decent run, only 3 lengths off Cool Archie in the JJ Atkins. I'm not all over this horse because I do think there's other contenders for a Caulfield Guineas at the moment with better form than it, but we're trying to identify value here as well, and at $51, I think Aerodrome's overs. The Toorak Handicap was another hard race because just like the Sarupa Clark, we don't want a horse with too high or too low of a handicap rating, and Evaporated at about the 105 handicap rating I thought was good enough. Disappointed market expectation last Saturday in the PB Lawrence, but copped a bit of a check late in the piece. I think we'll just get better as the preparation goes on. Good win over 1600 metres last preparation, beating Swift Falcon in the Carbine Club. So I think Evaporate might be a decent chance in a Toorak. The Might and Power Stakes is going to be awesome this year. A great field will assemble, and we don't even know who's going to be in it yet. At the moment, I like Tom Kitten. He was good as a 3-year-old and 4-year-old, but maybe as a 5-year-old he can take a new step to a new peak. Tom Kitten. He won an All-Star Mile last preparation. He ran third in a Queen Elizabeth behind Via Sistina and Dubai Honor. That's very good form. It's going to be a great field for this year's Might and Power, and I'm more looking forward to the spectacle than actually which horse wins the race. The 1,000 Guineas was a tough one to decipher, but Biologics, even though we haven't seen it out of maiden grade yet, its maiden win was very dominant. It went very well on the clock. It looked visually impressive, and I can't wait to see it run. I've tried to identify some real value here in the Caulfield Cup. A New Look is currently $51. Ran first up behind El Rocco at Caulfield. Was doing some very good work through the line. I've read a couple of articles. Its main target is the Cups, and it trialled just this morning at Bendigo, so it should be looking to race again soon. And I mean, again, I'm not too confident on this 50-1 shot because there are horses with better form, but I think New Look at $51 is over the odds. Cox Plate time can't go past Via Sistina. She won the Cox Plate last year by 8 lengths and she'll be very hard to beat again. This is a 50-1 shot that I actually don't mind. Our Gold Hope in the Empire Rose. She's got some good form last preparation, finishing third behind Chaya Wolf and Just Fine in the Selwood. If we get a wet Spring Carnival in Melbourne, Our Gold Hope comes right into contention for the Empire Rose. The Empire Rose has been typically won by the New South Wales trained gallopers as well, so I also think that falls into Our Gold Hope's favour. Usually the best mares in the country tend to bypass the Empire Rose and go for like a Champions Mile, Fangirl for example, and a Tissue. So I think Our Gold Hope, even though it's unlikely at 50s, is over the odds, definitely. Now the Coolmore Stud Stakes, and at the moment I'm with Raging Force. I was on it when it ran last at Rose Hill. Or not last, it won the race, but its last run was at Rose Hill, and I was very impressed with that performance. Had a trial this morning and trialled very well. Derby Racing won the race a couple of years ago with Osmosis, and Raging Force looks to be heading in that direction as well. Out of all the futures, combining confidence levels of myself with the value aspect, I think this one might be the best. It's a Mezy in the Victoria Derby. It ran on debut behind Prestige Olay at Flemington and ran very well for its debut performance, and then had a good SP in the Anzac Day Stakes, raced 3 wide no cover and gave its all. That was some really good form in my opinion, trained by the man himself, Kieran Maher. It's by Maurice, so I think it should get up to maybe the 2,000 and 2,500 metres, and at $21, I like a Mezy in the Victoria Derby. Melbourne Cup time, and I'm not jumping off Kovalika yet. If you guys remember my video from November or December last year where I tried to pick the winner for all the main races of 2025, I identified Kovalika in the Melbourne Cup. It was 51 back then, it's $41 now, and I don't see any reason to jump off yet. I think its win in the Q22 last start was very good. Without a Fight won that race and then went on to win a Melbourne Cup. So I guess you can look at it that way. But it ran very well in the Melbourne Cup last year, Kovalika. And at 40s. I'm not jumping off yet. Now we'll get on to the VRC Oaks. I like this one a lot as well. Queen of Clubs. It was $15 the other day and it's been crunched into $9. Has some really good form from what it's shown in 4 career starts to date. I think it's going to run first up on this Saturday in the Silver Shadow, which is the exact same race first up that Zardozi ran in before, or maybe Zardozi was second up that day before it won the VRC Oaks. So Queen of Clubs, I like. Champion Sprint, I have to be on Jimmy's side. It's Oakley Plate wins, scorching down the middle of the Caulfield Racecourse. It was something I'll never forget, and its win over 1400 metres in the all-aged was very good as well. Don't know if it's ever seen the Flemington Straight before Jimmy Star, but I think it'll be very, very tough to beat if it heads that way. Champions Mile, I have no idea how this horse is going to go this preparation. Mr. Brightside, I just have a feeling it's not going to go well because he went over to Hong Kong and failed there, and I just think he might be over it. That run might have wrecked him, but I sure do hope not. We won't know until he runs in a race, obviously, but Mr. Brightside won this race last year. I think he can go back to back. And the Champion Stakes via Sistina, she followed the same path last year. Turnbull, Cox Plate, Champion Stakes, and I think she might do it again this year. And finishing off with the CF4 Stakes. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the first time, I reckon, ever that we know the result to a race before it has been run, because the CF4 Stakes of 2025 has already been run. And I can show you the replay. I can show you the winner right here, another Will. Look at it peel to the outside of Mr. Brightside and absolutely go whooshka. Another Will is $8 in the market to win the 2025 CF4 Stakes, and it's already won. This is the exact replay of the 2025 CF4 Stakes. Is this just free money or what? Get on another Will. Well, thanks everyone for watching this early spring features tips video. If you're looking for my top 2 or 3 most confident ones, factoring in price, I'd have to go with Our Gold Hope in the Empire Rose at $51. And I think at the top, the one that I like the most is a Mezy Stakes in the Victoria Derby. Kieran Maurice, good form in its first prep, $21. I'm happy to follow a Mezy Stakes into the Victoria Derby at this stage, and obviously the sure thing in the CF4 for 2025, another Will. We'll quickly go back through all the horses I've identified. So in the Mezy Stakes, Private Eye, the Moya, Escher, Maccabi Diva Stakes, another Will, the Underwood, Vauban, the Sir Rupert Clark, NCAP, Manardo, Headwall, Turnbull Stakes via Sistina, Caulfield Guineas, Aerodrome, Turak Handicap, Evaporate, the Might and Power, Tom Kitten, 1000 Guineas, Biologics, Caulfield Cup, New Look, Cox Plate via Sistina, Empire Rose, Our Gold Hope, Coolmore Stud Stakes, Raging Force, Victoria Derby, Mezy Stakes, Melbourne Cup, Kovalika, VRC Oaks, Queen of Clubs, Champion Stakes via Sistina, Champion Sprint, Jimmy Star, Champions Mile, Mr. Brightside, and the CF4, another Will. I don't mind Queen of Clubs actually, even though it's come into favouritism. I think it's a really good young filly on the rise. So that's going to do it for this video. Thanks everyone again for watching. Who are you with in some of the spring features? Let me know. And until next video, bye for now.